hesitation. I already know what you're saying. I love little conversations, and I don't want you to go changing, 'cause girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. I hope that you just feel it all too. 'Cause girl, you're comfortable and let's go. Feels so good just when I roll through. And I just think it's so crazy what you do to me. Girl, you're the baddest thing, you know that. And I really need you to show it. So turn around, let me get you on the cold. Situation. We don't spend time hesitating, and I wouldn't say we're crazy in love. I would just say we're crazy enough. 'Cause girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. You just feel it all too. 'Cause girl, you're comfortable and let's go. Feels so good just when I roll through. And I just think it's so crazy what you do to me. Girl, you're the baddest thing, you know that. And I really need you to show it. So turn around, let me get you on the cold. Slow it down. Jeans on when we hit the town. We don't really care who's around. But baby, I'm with you if you gon' be down. 'Cause girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. You just feel it all too. You're so comfortable. 'Cause girl, you're comfortable. It just feels so good just when I roll through. And I just think it's so crazy what you do to me. Girl, you're the baddest thing, you know that. It's true. And I really need you to show it. So turn around, let me get you on the cold air. I don't know what you do. Let me get you on a Kodak.
Welcome back, Overwatch fans, to another amazing night.
We have a fantastic match tonight, no question about it.
Oh my god, yes!
But the barrage! Make sure they can't even follow up afterwards.
And Wash has found 2 in this fight thus far. Make that 3, make that 4 right now here. Dynamic team gets a 4-man tire.
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
100 gets 3 with the primal rage.
Experience tranquility.
Hello, welcome back. It's the frickin' Tranquility. You know where it's at. You already know what it's at too. It's the playoffs. We're getting into the knockouts. These are some real matches coming up ahead of us, and tonight is no different. Right by my side. What can you tell us about what's coming up?
Yeah, so we have Arctic Foxes and Death Cards. You know, this is, again, everything on the line. If you lose here, you're out. So we're actually, you know, talking some big stakes here, right? We're moving towards the finals. That's the goal in mind here, to get in and to be that winner. And also, we're going to start out here, I believe, with Ilios as our first map, a map that you all know and love, with those cheeky environmental kills and also that that fun brawl widow potential later on. So yeah, what are your thoughts going into this first map, Missile?
No, Ilios is a very hit scan friendly map, as I like to put it. Frickin' coming in this, it depends. It varies very much on which map, right? For control, I always say that it varies for each round. But frickin' you got well, which is something that can kind of here. Okay, we're heading into it. Freaking, I thought that was well.
Okay, no. We don't know yet. Oh, we are going to start with
I knew
well.
it.
Cool.
So smart.
Hopefully our Lucios don't go too
Oh,
crazy.
my
But
bad. All right. Freaking, so well, I was trying to get into it. With that, it's very like you can try and play like a brawl thing, but you can also have DPS on the side. You can also try and like force your way. You can try and make your own flow with that map because you've got such a giant hole in the middle. So like seeing teams, you can kind of go a brawl thing. You can whip out a Sojourn. Yeah, it looks like Wolf gonna be bringing out the Soldier, and we've got Kip on the both teams running something kind of like the meta for Overwatch League. Voltage is gonna be running a Zarya, is trying to have some sustainability. It looks like they're gonna be having not so much of a dive as they're gonna be doing something they can play around the point more, bully people into corners, bully people onto the side. So heading into it, oh man.
yeah, again, we're seeing basically the mirrored comps with the change in tank, and that's going to play a little bit more in the favor of you know, with Octodon, the Reaper, because, you know, brawling into that monkey is going to be super chunk potential. Put it that way.
Chunk potential, absolutely. And already popping both bubbles and coming up on almost 100 charge for Wolf here on the Arctic Fox is really just blasting people into this side room. Abilities really being forced out, but nobody really making a dive yet.
Right, nobody's coming in here. We're looking at that poke damage. You can see the Reaper just hanging out by the Winston, doing that damage where they can. So yeah, so far going to flip to red side here. Nobody really coming in here yet, still in the poke phase. Bell coming out as well. And we're going to kind of reset here with the DPS dueling on the left side for that point control.
Yeah, I did like that play from Mars, taking that wide flank, really trying to prevent any kind of value that Wolf can take. And oh man, Voltage is going to melt down Slick. Mars immediately having to amp it up right there, trying to rebound off of this. It's not over yet, but with 3 laps falling, it's looking grim.
Yeah, that's 2 down. That's going to be a big advantage. 3 down. That's looking like it's going to go to Death Cards here at the moment. It's just going to be a quick cleanup. And we can even see they're having a lot of ultimates on their side, on both sides actually. We're nearing up on 4 ultimates here. So we're going to be definitely looking forward to that overclock and that grab to kind of open up the fight as well. That Kiriko combination with Sojourn can be lethal going through these small corridors, and Orsted's going to open up with a pick.
Oh man, yeah, they're just gonna immediately just try and make all of the space they can off this, really pressing it up, and you can do that when you got Voltage on the Zarya, who, by the way, got Graviton Surge in like 32% of this point. I haven't seen Zarya's get grabbed that fast, but oh man, not letting up any of this pressure at all. And when you're coming up, Sherry Radius coming up onto the Soldier, yeah, these overclocks, I mean, this is just gonna go one mayhem of a fight.
Yeah, seriously, and now we're about to be tied on terms of both teams. We see the grab coming out here, but Orsted is in the background, but it doesn't even matter where you are because there's just going to be a cleanup from the side of Death Cards.
Yeah, that was brutal. A clean little headshot, winning that fight with only Graviton Surge. I mean, although 5 ultimates coming your way, especially with Relapse coming up on a Primal, I mean, I think they're going to try and like make a little dive, but I don't know so far.
Yeah, that's the max value that you can hope for out of that ult here, but we're seeing, again, just forcing into these short corners here. Maybe they're going to try and use that Reaper ultimate as well, but that's a pick from Marcy, so that's going to open up the point there as well, seeing that maybe the Primal Rage get popped here, but not...
Oh, man. trying to get that overclock on the high ground, but Relapse immediately says no and takes it down to 17 HP. That's going to be a back away and a point flip, 35% and counting. But I mean, you're not going to walk away with it. Oh man, Slick is pressing the advantage with a Kitsune Rush. Oh my goodness gracious, this fight. Placebo Hardy having to use a beat for this as well. They're trying to just stay in this. They have a really good advantage to where they can walk onto the point. Yeah, they're taking that left side, but oh man, Wolf already sees it and pops the overclock.
Yeah, Orsted is playing very patient here. They know they only need to win one fight with a massive ultimate from Orsted. Just plowing down the front line, walking in, saying, this is my point here.
Oh man, and even the high ground too, just TPing up, not letting Slick get away with that. And Slick, I mean, you're gonna have to rechange your name to Slug right there, but Relapse finding a little click on the placebo.
Yeah, I mean, luckily we'll see here that they have about 2 ults online here for death cards. They're going to be able to, this should be a clean win. They have the advantage, and especially with grab coming up soon, they can just kind of hold the poke angle here and build up ultimates. And it doesn't even matter because it's just going to be a pick from the side of the Echo as well, or the Soldier. My bad, there's no Echo in this.
Same thing.
I might be seeing double because they're just going to win 2 fights in a row here. So we are hopefully going to move to a clean wipe, potentially. Relapse,
I mean, they're
trying to hold the point.
Wolf, Relapse diving into that backline. It looks like they've got Winston and Lucio, which I mean, oh man, actually they'll actually be able to rebound off this. And with Wolf, oh man, but Haru falling, they're playing very scattered right now, Arctic Foxes. But oh man, yeah, Orsa's just gonna start cleaning that up, and then the rest of the team, it's a valiant effort. Very, you saw some like dying lights of a Phoenix right there. And talking about Phoenixes, I mean, that's just the first round of map, right? Yeah, moving. I was saying earlier that like it varies differently for control points from round to round, map to map. Heading into this next point, I mean, yeah, Ruins especially. This is a very head-to-head map, which is the complete opposite of Well. I mean, Well, you're playing off to the sides, but now this is just a brawl. It looks like.
Right, yeah, I love how patient Death Cards is playing right now. They're looking for the right opportunities to walk in with their Reaper and their Zarya. They're taking advantages of their grabs. It's everything that we want to see from that team comp. And I wonder, again, you know, that match just being to walk on the monkey for Relapse, if that's giving them that little bit of an advantage as well.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see here. No swaps, no swaps at all from either team. So we're going to see. I'm gonna see here, maybe we can see Wolf pull out some cool off angles here and get some nice damage in. So far, just holding control of that mega health pack as well.
Ooh, 8 Arctic Fox is falling very low with especially their tank right now. Not having those 2 bubbles is coming in not as much handy, especially when Voltage has 100 charge and Marcel's down. Still with a point advantage. I mean, Relapse is trying to make this work, but the rest of the Arctic Foxes, I mean, trying to follow up after getting 1 pick, I mean, it's just going to be hard.
Yeah, they're just cleaning up. I mean, Chartavis is getting 2 massive 3K right there. I mean, some great picks, some great usage of that right click there, which I still don't know the name. I don't even actually know if that has a name, that ability. I know it's the overclock for the ult, but we'll see. Either way, he's making some great use out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna call it a quick scope for now, but freaking holy, nice little 3K. Especially, I think you can just get so much for your range. I mean, and not going up like I mean, Relapse with the Winston bubbles. I mean, it's hard to kind of okay. Immediately just gonna dive on the Sherry. That is one way to counter a Sojourn.
Forced out. Even you see the Reaper walking out and getting immediately poked out by Death Cards as well. So they're gonna try and brawl forward here. We'll see if that works out. They're forcing out Orsa's Wraith.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's going to be dangerous. Yeah, Marcel going all that way without Wraith form. Eventually, Haru does fall, but Chari is just an absolute frontline menace. Relapse again trying to deal with him, but gets lasered down by Voltage. I mean, we're seeing some themes starting to come out here, but along with themes, we've got ultimates too. So, I mean, anything could happen at like 50%, right? Oh dear.
Every single time Relapse tries to brawl in, Relapse is getting matched by the tanks, matched by Orsted, opening it up for Chartavis, and it's just free reign for their Sojourn. They're looking for a cheeky grab here. You gotta be real quiet. You gotta see if you can get it, but it's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. Maybe they can push forward here with a Kiriko ultimate from Slick, but so far not looking too good, especially when the grab's gonna come through too, and the bell is already forced. Just a lot of abilities getting forced out of Arctic Foxes here, with no real value, unfortunately, getting turned onto Death Cards.
Another one. Oh my god, Death Cards, that rebound was phenomenal. I mean, using both support ults after that Graviton Surge. I mean, not a lot of teams, like, they could have, a lot of teams could have popped DPS ults after that grab, but Death Cards did support ults, and that kept them in this fight, that kept them at 90%, and now with 3 ultimates for Arctic Foxes, I mean, you're trying to just look for an angle, you can't just keep diving Sharp this over and over, and it looks like Or said, yeah, he's just gonna eliminate Haru.
That's huge, especially since he's going to be forced to use the Primal Rage in a second here, unless Hardy goes down. Maybe opening up the fight here. That could be another pick onto Orsted as well. They might just be saving their ults at this point.
Yeah, I mean that's what you got to do if you're in it to win. And I mean, chasing at placebo. Oh wow, the primal.
I said ults, but it is that one ult. So you know, sometimes it just flips. Sometimes you get a good pick and you capitalize off of it, and that seems what Arctic Fox did there.
Showed him who's boss, and I mean that's also one way to win. And Shari just that's gonna be very helpful.
Wolf, I mean, I know we're gassing up Shardy a lot, but Wolf is definitely showing that he can stand toe to toe with the other hit scan here. So
Absolutely.
they're trying to reset here. They don't have any ults online, but maybe that can be built up quick. Getting into the brawl here too, but it's not gonna commit yet. They want to hold the point, play a little safe here. They know again that Death Card's only has one fight. With
That's a
massive
nasty
kill coming.
Yeah, that was a really early overclock too. Like they press the. I think Arctic Fox is just so scared there, and they're just gonna collapse after that too. Yeah, playing so scared with a team composition such as this, you can't really. Oh man, Wolf. I mean, that was just brave.
This is just the cleanup as well. I know we're dissecting while it's going down because that's just how they're playing. Is that they're playing calculated. They're playing a little bit. They're playing fast, but they're playing slow. If you've been in those ranked games and you're really feeling in sync with your teammates, you probably know what I'm talking about, where just all the plays are coming together, how you envision them, whether that be waiting for that grab, looking for that early pick, and coordinating that brawl or that rush together. It's really some great stuff we're seeing here, and hearing as well from Death Cards.
No, yeah, I think the word for that is sauce. Playing with sauce, playing with Riz, playing with style. I mean, that was just clean. I mean, that's a 2-0 on Ilios, and not only that, it was Well and Runes, the hardest maps of Ilios. And the Arctic Foxes. I'm not trying to call them bad or anything. They went about it very properly with their team composition, recognizing that Sharibus doing so much work. You could just keep trying to dive after him over and over, but the peel from the rest of the team was just popping off. So I mean, eventually Arctic Foxes, I mean, that's how they got so far after they capped the point in the second half. I mean, they started diving other people, they started working around, they started viewing Death Cards as an entire team rather than just one person to dive on. And that's where Arctic Foxes started getting some momentum. But in that end, I mean,
right.
Holy.
I mean, the thing is that, yeah, we're still seeing a lot of individual just skill from these players on Arctic Foxes. They're getting those picks. You know, we're seeing Relapse walk up and identify when to jump onto a solo and close out some low HP targets. And we're seeing both hit scans match each other as well. It's just that Death Cards are just, you know, they're just really tight right now. They're really together. They're really rotating in the same way. It seems like they're just in sync. You know, they're I'm trying to make a cards joke right now, but they're definitely it's not coming. We're just gonna move on here.
Full stack.
They can't all be winners, chat. So we're gonna get into our next map here, which is going to be Paraiso.
I haven't seen everyone. Man, I haven't seen yeah, I haven't seen Tranquility play Paraiso yet. This is the new little thing right now. All right, cool. And so yeah, look, those last matches. I mean, Death Cards were just looking like a royal house, and royal. I tried combining Royal Flush and Full House. That's crazy. But they were just looking pretty clean. But Paraiso, I mean, holy, this is... If we're talking about Ilios being a clean win, Paraiso has to be the dirtiest Overwatch map. This is if I compared Midtown to more of a COD map, this is a cultured COD map. This is a story and a half. I mean, half the time in all my comp games, I mean, I just try and hold the first point because after that it's just who knows what. And man, all right, it looks like actually the death cards running actually the same kind of composition, which won them the first point. But I mean, going into Paracio, I mean, I feel like a lot of what that first map came down to was just the team compositions with the geometry. So heading
Yeah.
into Paracio, I mean, I don't know how this is going to add up, but
Right, definitely. I really want to see Arctic Foxes help play around help Wolf really. And I think
mm,
that this map, especially when you get to that first point, offers such strong angles for your hit scan to take that maybe playing something to help them out there in the future would be great. But for now, we're just gonna brawl up to the high ground is what Arctic Foxes is saying right now. So see if you can match, but it looks like again, yeah, they just want to kind of hold this courtyard here and look for some picks, look for some brawl potential, but that's tough to do when you're against a Reaper and you're in all this open space with all the poke potential from Charybdis, pulling out that first kill with Orsted again, walking into relapse, taking a second kill. They're just gonna start falling from the front line, and it's really hard to brawl in there when again, you just have these open angles and you're able to just put out so much damage onto that Winston and just yeah, really, really, that's it. That's what happened there.
I
Seriously.
mean, you're talking about Wolf like needing the team to play more around Wolf, and I think Wolf got 2 picks, and not only that, on that second pick, he got the Sojourn diff. So I mean, taking that wide flank again, something that was like starting to see the team kind of having a vision of how they want to actually take down death cards, and Wolf actually starting to make some room here. Yeah, looks like Relapse was gonna have that dive.
Trying to TP into the back line
Oh.
onto Lucio, but not finding that pick. Instead, Orsid is going to take down Relapse again, and Delphi's going to fall up the trade onto their support. It's not looking good for Arctic Foxes here, as their push is slowly getting chunked out as they continue to walk in.
Oh man, that was just rough from Relapse. Got absolutely melted. Nothing to relapse onto after that. And Sharp just coming up on a soldier not to, oh, I thought they were going back to swap. No, that's crazy. But coming up on some ultimates for both sides, but most importantly, death cards with that soldier ultimate. This is going to be a little risky heading into this, considering how the last two kind of fights have gone, reaching this 2-minute kind of thing. Looks like they are again going to take this high ground, try and find a little bird's eye view to try and dive onto. Have the eyes going on, but again, it's a lot of damage. Slick. Oh, but Wolf, it's Orsted.
Falling a massive kill, but trading it, both Reapers down from each teams. Seeing the overclock come out here onto the Winston, but we'll see if I can chunk it down in time. The Bell coming out as well here, but we're not able to close it out yet. Voltage being able to train the supports, and again, that's just going to be kind of a standstill from each team for now. You kind of take out the main damage dealer, you take out also the support line. At this point, you just got to back up and try again.
Oh man, that again and again, slowly Arctic Foxes are slowly getting the groove. It is very slow. Again, shutting down Charybdis was very big, and after that, Voltage, it's just kind of leading up how the two teams want to go about the two tanks. That's what it's kind of coming down to, getting to this 1 minute 11 seconds down. But Voltage having the grab, you're going to be met with Haru's beat. So Haru has the kind of choice if they want to kind of push in with their support ultimates, let Relapse do his thing, or do they want to kind of wait this out, stall out, kind of have a brawl happen, and looks like already.
Yeah, Haru's gonna use a beat. She's gonna try and sustain her team, but I don't know if that's gonna be enough here in that grab. You're stuck in those small corridors. They're gonna get forced back at this point. Their main brawler is down. And I can see the gears turning from the side of Arctic Foxes, but are they gonna be able to get it to work? Those plays. We'll see in a second here. It's 30 seconds down to the wire.
Death cards put a lot into that. They put in their Orsted's Blossom and Voltage's Grab. So I mean they're kind of out of luck here. They do have Placebo's beat, but again they kind of Arctic Foxes, they can smell it out. They're Arctic Foxes. They know how to hunt and they go for it.
Now they need a pick here onto Lucio, but Lucio's gonna get out super quickly. This is gonna be a Death Blossom potential, but it gets faced by Voltage. That's what they needed to close out this fight. Yeah, it's gonna be just kind of chunks on the DPS. And at this point, it's just going to be another cleanup from the side of death cards. Oh, man. They had the idea there. The denial potential from that Zarya bubble, from that dive, is just massive. They need to find a way to deal with that. Again, we're seeing the gears turning. We're seeing the plays being called out where they're picking a target. They're diving into it. They're doing what's right when you want to dive. I mean, you're isolating, you're looking for a pick, but when you have that Zarya and when you have that chunk potential from the Reaper onto your Winston, it's just, you don't have a Zarya to back up that Winston anymore. It's not Overwatch 1.
That's true.
So
Uh,
At this point, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for Arctic Foxes.
It is, but I mean, again, I was talking about the comp games. I mean, I just try and hold down this first point. Never even gets past the door, so I mean, nothing unusual so far. But so far, what we've seen, I think the kind of main thing for Arctic Fox is they try and dive in. And I think when we imagine a fox in the Arctic snow, I think there's some videos of like foxes like jumping in snow, trying to make holes. But overall, when you see a fox jump onto a prey, in that moment of the jump, when you're in the sky, you lose like what are the, I'm gonna get to a really poetic thing about foxes here, but what I'm trying to say, yeah,
You lose
you lose the ability to do
rely on
things.
the element of surprise, right?
Yeah,
You need to set yourself up really, really well to get that kill on that little mouse. In this case, we just saw on the Lucio, but sometimes that mouse can just speed away, it can just run away, and that's exactly what happens, especially when you have something to help.
yeah.
That shot not connecting from Orsted here,
Oh
but
man.
it's gonna be a quick swap back onto the Reaper, and maybe the break pick will be able to help here, peel for the Winston, but we'll see what can get done on the side of Arctic Foxes in terms of their dive.
Oh, that's nasty. But
Horse thing,
Barcel is gonna be able to trade it and get the Reaper pick. Trying to make some momentum off of this, but not too far. They're just trying to really claim this high ground because high ground is where their strong suit has been so far. But oh my god, Voltage just doesn't even care and walks right onto the point. Oh my goodness.
looking for that Sojourn, but I don't know what's gonna happen here. It's looking like we're getting a brawl together, but it's
Oh,
Relapse is getting a pick here.
the Voltage is isolated. Placebo
This is
sleeping.
gonna be a
Yeah.
trap.
All right, it looks like they can stop it. Yeah. I think Voltage being cut off of there was kind of the detriment to that fight, and you can see just how meaningful Voltage is. Yeah, Voltage swaps immediately to a monkey. That now going into a more even fight. I mean, this is where kind of Haru comes in, right? Taking this break pick. Now you got something that's like can tank a dive. If Voltage, like we were talking about the last round, like diving in like a fox. When you dive in like a fox, you lose your abilities because you dove in. So now Haru can just kind of take advantage of that in a way. But this is again very kind of like risky stuff. I mean, you could see how it worked out for Arctic Fox's last match. So heading into this, yeah, it looks like Arctic Fox is going to be taking that back high ground, letting Death Cards have some space to breathe. Looks like, oh, Voltage pounces.
And the Bray definitely is getting some value here in terms of helping peel off Voltage here. But is that going to be enough? Because you got to pick onto Placebo from the side of Relapse.
Oh man,
Or
what a
going off here as well. Charlie getting another pick. That might be enough to get this point here. But Haru, she's able to get a pick onto Charlie, taking away their carry, taking away their big source of damage. It's just a slugfest, kills on both sides, but the key ones are going to be from the side of Death Cards to take that map.
Oh man, Delphi hitting him with the good morning, and oh man, Voltage. I mean, it's putting on so much pressure to those supports. In the end, like Haru was able to like eventually peel for those supports, eventually get a pick. But in that amount of time, just from that alone, the rest of the team was able to just have so much value for Death Cards was able to get so much value from the pressure Voltage was putting on. I think a lot of this team, a lot of Arctic Foxes, they're a very together team. We can see that they always want to dive together. They want to make use off of the value they can do from dives, from mainly being together. Death Cards, they can be they recognize the more some like individuality plays and stuff, and like so coming into this like a halftime, there's definitely going to be some like like some actual reflection because these, I mean, Arctic Foxes again and again they were getting it. And it was, unfortunately, Paricio is not the it's not necessarily in quotations good map for momentum per se, but I mean, so far, I mean, like what would you say Arctic Fox's kind of strengths are?
Well, I really think that they did have the right idea, and you could even see at the end that they recognized too, like with Haru swapping to the Brig, right? Brig, especially from, so you might think that Brig is better in the defensive capability there, but really what you'll see is that it's strengthen the offense as well because you're able to peel for that Reaper. You're able to pack your Winston when he jumps in. It's really just strong in terms of the team comp. It depends how you want to play, right? So with those dives, with the style that they are playing, the Brig is actually really strong, especially when they were playing the Lucio on defense, right? The Lucio can't really provide the same level of peel with the monkey for that Anna, right? So I feel like there's definitely that can be up for debate depending on your team comp. But in the case that they had with the Reaper, with the Winston, with the Sojourn, to be able to take those off angles, you can really just have and take that time to sit patiently and support your team while also making sure that your Ana is not going to end up on the wrong side of that Tesla cannon, right? So that's what I really like that swap there at the end. I am biased because I do have the unpopular opinion of just liking Brig as the character, especially now with the rework. I mean, earlier, Overwatch 1, we don't need to talk about that. That's not the game anymore, right? But yeah, great stuff from both teams, I think, especially with the Sojourn play, right? It was really just a back and forth between the two players. So I think that was awesome.
Oh yeah, you're talking about. Oh yeah, oh my gosh, it's just I could go on and on about this, but eventually we will get to see them play after the halftime, and we will get to see these teams continue to go at it. So far, I'm just gonna relist the scores before we head into halftime here. Forgive me if I'm wrong by any count, but so far we got the Guangzhou Gangsters coming in with 4 wins coming into this. We got Decapitators. Oh wait. Sorry, I've never read the scores before. Here. Sorry. Could I read the scores? Could I read the scores after the half?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's
My bad.
They're all 0-0 is what we're hearing. So we're just gonna head to halftime. I know it's 2-0 on the side of Death Cards right now, but I don't think you should count out Arctic Foxes yet. I think they're starting to learn how the team is playing. They're starting to learn how to counter it. We're seeing it with those swaps. We're seeing with how they're playing. So you'll get to see even more of that when we come back from the break.
Hell yeah.
and welcome back everybody to the slugfest that is Death Cards and Arctic Foxes. Maybe less of a slugfest, maybe more of a stomp right now, but I wouldn't count out Arctic Foxes just yet because that 2-0 score can be deceiving. Like we said before we came to the break, they've been making some swaps and they have been making some adaptations in playstyle from the side of Arctic Foxes. They're starting to learn how Death Cards are playing, and you know, instead of getting the hands dealt to them, they're the ones that are playing the cards, right? They're playing some games here for sure, in terms of mental games, in terms of just getting some new strats. So we'll see what they're able to pull out here on map 3.
Yeah, hopefully the game they're playing is not Go Fish, because right now, well, I don't know where I was going with that.
No, that was good. I like that one.
Death Cards is such a good name. I just have to say it. But overall, this is gonna be pretty scary coming in if you're Arctic Foxes. I mean, so far they've like swapped their complete composition, so going up against basically a whole new foe. And talking about brand new foes, Decapitators are 1-1 against the Devil Dukes right now, which is pretty spicy considering what kind of a team Decapitators are looking to be. And Billings Boomers and Frostfisher, it is 1-0 Billing Boomers so far, heading into, oh man, just some intense matches coming into tonight, and some even more intense team compositions. Yeah, Widow v Widow.
Right, Widow v Widow, and we're also seeing a swap onto the Kiriko from Slick. They're going to try and get maybe a little bit more poke damage, a little bit of that, you know, that denial potential onto a Widow. If you see a Widow standing still, you can just shoot some quick kunai, get a quick pick, but we'll see what happens on the side of Arctic Foxes. They're going to be on attack first with Relapse dropping really low and a pick from Orsted to open up the fight. Especially with that immo going down that early, that immortality field, that's gonna pretty much shut down that push.
Yeah, when you got Discord orbs coming out too, there's just a lot of like frontline pressure. You can start kind of changing how the flow, changing the flow to how you want to go. And Orsted, again, just going to be a lot of pressure. Marcel, but also basically two teams mirroring. Both teams can kind of just try and like, yeah, already before I can even finish my sentence, running the high ground.
Yeah, looking for something with the immo going down as well already. That's gonna take away some of that sustain potential with Delphi taking down the support. At this point, you really don't have too many cards to play on the side of, unless you're Wolf. In that case, you know, you can still hunt as a Fox, right? You can still find those kills where you can, until Orsted says otherwise and takes out Marcy. We're seeing a pretty even fight here so far.
Yeah, so Silch claiming this high ground, they are getting point progress, and that's the most important thing, especially once it reaches under the bridge. Then you can actually just walk forward onto this bridge and then pressure into Death Cards. But so far, this is a very risky maneuver from both sides. Anyone can pop an ult at any moment, or someone can get a pick, and that's going to be huge when it's onto Kip. No immortality field, no window. DNA's got that flux, but I mean, already the pressure is pushed, and Relapse is going to... man.
Clean pick on the Shardy, opening up, cracking open the next phase, so they can start pushing up the hill.
Ooh.
At this point, I don't think that Death Cards can come back. I think that they've run out of cards to play. So.
There you go. When you get that Widow diff, I mean, Orsted's gonna have to take a seat, gonna have to sit back up in the gaming chair. This is gonna be a pretty intense battle, especially coming up onto this curve with basically 5 ults for both sides. It's gonna be interesting to see how they kind of fall out when Relapse doesn't really have the high ground yet. DNA already, DNA pressuring it, making it even, but Orsted on that side.
Yeah, with both windows coming out, both flexes, and a Trank as well to just try and stabilize, and it looks like it's gonna work for the side of Death Cards because they're cleaning up this fight. We're seeing mashed ultimates from both sides, and I mean, in terms of economy, again, we're pretty much seeing a little bit of an advantage from Death Cards, but that's not gonna stop the Foxes. They're determined. They're down 0-2. They need this win. They need to get up this point as fast as possible.
You're saying Death Cards has an advantage, but I can already see that poker face. Delphi does not have Transcendence, and Slick has the means to press a Kitsune rush into their team with Wolf on that overclock. Charybdis. Oh man.
That's
gonna be a little dreadful.
Let's go ahead. The Kitsune rush is still committed. Still looking for some picks from the side of Slick, just pushing in, trying to find that space, taking out the Immortality Field, but getting shut down by Delphi, taking out a quick pick. And again, we're going to just kind of stabilize in a mid-fight here, looking for a little bit of a off angle here on the side of Delphi, trying to kick, trying to use that Monk's training that Zenyatta has accrued over the past 1,000 years or however long it's been. It's gonna get a 2K, which is, you know, we love to see a support popping off. So that is some exciting stuff from the side of from Delphi here and from Death Cards. They're gonna hold it steady here. They're saying this car has stopped here. We're gonna make a pit stop. You're gonna have to make some repairs to how you're approaching these fights before you can go any further.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna have to do. And then, especially coming up 70 is pretty even on support ultimates. Although DNA is really out too far. Marcel's gonna pick that up, swapping over the Ash, and Wolf gonna be popping that ult. I mean, they're just gonna be pressing this.
Yeah, this Overclock's doing a lot of work here. A lot of picks that's backed up by the team as well. It's just gonna get the toughest part of this point over with. You know, that high ground, looking down at the team, is just a major advantage that is a struggle for both teams in terms of when they're pushing up the hill. But we're gonna go into kind of fight for point 3 here with the window being popped early, trying to zone them out, but the Flux finds 3. The Immortality Field's gonna come out too late, and the Bell's gonna be
Marcel!
It's gonna just drop. It's just gonna drop like flies on the side of both teams, actually. And after the carnage, it looks like Arctic Foxes are gonna be able to clinch the second point here.
Yeah, Marcel and Wolf really picking it up in there, making use of that Haru window. Oh my god, I mean, like, it did come out early, but with that, I mean, yeah, on Ilios, I mean, Kerberos popped a really early overclock, but both these teams, they've got the vibe and they're going with it. Marcel has the Bob, Delphi has the Transcendence, but also a pick to his name, and that's gonna be Baptista again, falling. You're gonna have an Immortality Field, and if you're gonna try and claim that high ground, yeah, DNA's gonna have to fall off, and Kerberos is also gonna fall off into the kill feed.
Yeah, it's just seeing a lot of great momentum from the side of Arctic Foxes. We told you not to count them out here, and they're showing that they can do it. They're showing their hit scan prowess. They're showing the strength of their off angles and the way that they're able to take fights in a more patient way, looking for those key ultimates to come out. Just some stellar stuff from their team. And that Bob is going to open up the fight as well, with the Transcendence being counter, trying to stabilize here, but it doesn't matter because Orsted finds a pick and ends up trading for Delphi. But we'll see, they're gonna have to kind of reset here on the side of Death Cards. You're gonna have to give a little bit of space, and the Kitsune Rush is gonna try and push forward for Arctic Foxes here, try and find a pick.
I mean, this up there is just gonna be so bad. Like that was some nasty stuff. I mean, Death Cards is freaking that Zenyatta play of the game. I don't even care. But yeah, after that, I mean, just the high ground pressure that Marcel has is just so dominant. Finding the dip onto Orsted. I mean, Kerberos is gonna pop that overclock, but when you it is gonna make it again another trade coming out. It's trying to Arctic Fox is trying to make some rebound, but
yeah, we're just seeing trade after trade from each of these teams where the DPS are just trying to gut into these 1v1s like we're seeing right now until the supports join. Supports join the party. They're saying, what's going on over here? You have some salsa, you have some dip. I want to join. I want to get on the fun, right? It doesn't matter who's there. I want a little piece of the pie, right? So that's what Death Cards is going to use to be able to hold off for now. But we'll see if Arctic Fox come in here and open up the Flux, maybe. Death Cards is gonna use their own.
You're talking about dips and shipping, man. DNA bringing the entire rest of the Fiesta coming. I mean, Marcel does find Orsted, but I mean, overall, Orsted swapping onto Tracer, you're already looking at 80% ult charge. I mean, this guy just swapped. It's been about 30 seconds. That was some crazy value. The momentum that Death Cards was able to make just off of such a little time, just after losing that fight. I mean, again and again, I mean, I've said historically, this third point of Circuit Royale is just a bummer for both sides. But all right, Wolf gonna be blocking the overclock. They have the high ground, but the point isn't really on the high ground. And Wolf and Relapse see that they are starting to press it. 4 ults coming up for Arctic Foxes, and the cart is there. They have the control and they have the ability to try to direct this flow. Bob's gonna try and have something to say.
Side here, it's massive. It's exactly what they need. They need to spam those ultimates. They need that advantage. They need that final thing to push through. If they can take out the Tracer here, then they can just start making their way in to cap the point and deny death cards from actually being able to hold them. So hopefully,
Oh,
I'm rooting for Arctic Foxes here that they
Yep.
can just clinch it out. I'm trusting Wolf here to get another pick here and just close it out. The
Hey,
Doofus,
he gets it.
Doofus isn't gonna be enough either. It's great. We love to see a strong
let's
fight
go.
coming out.
Oh man, dude, that was literally a picture perfect like way to go about that. Arctic Foxes didn't just throw themselves onto the point. They knew that would be too much of a temptation for the rest of death cards to just collapse onto them. And when they collapse from them, it's not just some basic, some random ass, collapse. It's coming from the high ground, and so you could see the DPS is playing that really safe. And eventually, the rest of the ultimates from Arctic Foxes really reflected what they wanted to do. They had such a calm, cool, collected mindset coming into that last fight. And when they've got the high, when DNA's got the high ground, yeah, as a Sigma, like that can be useful, but to a degree, I mean, you're a brawl tank essentially. And so what you want to do is like you want to make space for the rest of your teams to just start brawling. And when you're trying to do that from the high ground, you're gonna kind of have some of that like you're gonna start lacking in those fields, especially when Marcel was just a beauty on the Ashe, and especially when the ultimate advantages coming in from Arctic Foxes. I mean, if you're not gonna have enough cards, you can't really hold a poker face to the third point. You know,
Right.
that's
You
just
need
not
to
how Circle
find-
Royale goes.
You need to find that win condition, and that's what makes that point tough to crack, is that you can hold that little choke and spam that choke from a million different angles. Relapse saw that opportunity to rotate in the air and flip it around, say, hey, we have this space, we can walk in here, and that's exactly what Wolf and the rest of the team did. They turned it around, both in terms of the game and also quite literally during that fight. They literally took their spot. So props to the team there for identifying those moments that are so key to make the wins happen.
Ooh, yeah, Marcel's just gonna keep going, take this fire to the flame. We're gonna light this match into a win. I'm trying to compare it to the Olympic torch, but Or said, oh, that was a beautiful grapple. But in the end, Marcel Salazar pick, they have the kind of advantage, they have the control that they want to do. They still have that Sigma. It is a very balanced fight. These compositions are just, but Orsted. And then Kerbis.
These hit scan are just able to just keep firing here, keep finding the picks where they need to, and just push back Arctic Fox. Whereas this is, this is what we were talking about Shardy earlier. We're talking about his strong. Oh, and there's another pick. We're talking about. I'm just powerlifting the whole team at this point, right? But really, it's a team effort. It's the space that allows from the sides of the tank, right? Being able to set up your hit scan to be able to take those off angles safely and have your support from your supports be able to do that. And I mean, at this point, they're just gonna be able to cap here without them being able to touch. That was a clean rock from the side of DNet.
Yeah, I had something to say about that freaking the last point fight, but I also really it reminded me of okay. So immediately, yeah, I was gonna just quickly touch on that last point. Haru swapping over to Lucio was also just a huge factor in pushing that point to the very end, and because Delphi on the Zenyatta, that's giving the team more damage, that's giving the team more utility, that's giving the team more opportunities to make some power plays. Haru, yeah, is gonna swap off to that Lucio, Marcel on the Tracer, and Relapse on the Winston. I mean, that's just they're playing for speed, but they can also dive on Delphi. They recognize how vulnerable, especially coming onto this point of the map. I mean, yeah, look at Marcel.
Right, and they're holding that space at the top of the point early, just so they can take these fights on their terms. But even if it's on their terms, it doesn't mean it's going to guarantee a win from the side of Death Cards. Instead, Marcy's going to say that I have some terms and conditions here that you didn't read, and those are that I will kill you and take this push for myself. So I just don't know what's gonna happen next in terms of this team competition, because this is a really interesting one from the side of Alpha Foxes. It's just very, very hybrid. You see the Lucio and you see the hit scan. So we'll see how they choose to kind of semi-brawl this.
Ooh, that is a giant fuck. So can they keep it out? Yeah, a Slick with the bell. Is going to eventually get Haru, but Wolf taking out the Immortality Field, and not at that. Gets a headshot onto Delphi, which is going to be huge. That's going to be no bell to block the pulse bomb from Marcel. These DPS are tearing it up.
Yeah, they're tearing it up, and I mean, that's that's what happens. You get that big flux from the sides of Dina, but it doesn't matter if they're 3 in the air when they're 3 falling in your backline, because without them you can't close out that fight. So we're seeing a swap onto Zarya there. I'm guessing it's gonna be to kind of help with the defensive in terms of the dives, right? Be able to peel in terms of the Tracer and the Winston. So we'll see what happens here. We have an overclock online. Maybe some big hits can come out from the side of Death Cards.
Yeah, DNA trying to copy off that Zarya pick from what Arctic Foxes were doing, but Arctic Foxes, they know what game Death Cards are trying to play it, and I mean, what. You can play a lot of games with cards. I was talking earlier, you probably don't want to play Go Fish against a team that knows what cards you have, and I mean, he's gonna pop that overclock, trying to make something about Haru immediately with the beat, and doesn't stop there. They try and make some push off of this, and they do. They find the Lucio diff onto Delphi.
Yeah, Relapse is just pushing forward with the Tracer harassing the backline. This is just mayhem for the side of Death Cards. They're trying to push up here. They're trying to get the hill, but you know they can see exactly where they're going from this high ground, and they know exactly where to dive together. And we're seeing some great synergy from the side of Arctic Foxes. They are showing control here. They're showing that you might be able to brawl together, but we can hit you from every angle and you won't know where we're coming from. You won't know. You can pop a bubble, but that doesn't matter because we're just gonna reprioritize onto somebody else. So we're seeing some real fantastic play here from the side of Arctic Foxes.
Yeah, and this last point is so hard too. Eventually, yeah, they're gonna go into this kind of down. Are they baiting? Yeah, they're gonna bait them and push the corner with the aggression. I mean, it might catch them off guard. This may work. Yeah, they're gonna be a little scattered here. And when Orsted's got the Blossom, I mean, this is just some scary stuff.
Yeah, finding 2 picks from the side of the DPS of Death Cards, and they're gonna look for a third. The Rewind coming through, maybe saving the day here. They might be able to regroup with only losing 2 players and having fast characters. You can always get one more fight in here. Remember, it doesn't matter how much time is on the clock if you get that cap. So we're seeing a lot of ults on the side of Arctic Foxes, and that Kitsune Rush is going to try and zone them out, but the Pulse Bomb is not going to connect either. So at this point, we're just hoping, for some big ults from the side of Wolf, maybe being able to find a pick or 2, trying to shred through that sustain that's granted by the beat, but it looks like they're going to trade from both teams. There's no clear winner right now. It's just a slugfest. Kip taking down, DNAT taking down another member, and it looks like a cap is going to come through from the side of Death Cards. Wow, what
rough.
A fight. Really could have swung either way there, but that's what it comes down to, where you're trying to protect the point and you stabilize during that mid fight and you sit with your team, with Orsted and Dina sitting together and just using their brawl capability to single out targets.
Yeah, freaking DNA even has the Graviton Surcell, and big thing with that last fight came down to Kip used Kitsune Rush, and that may not seem like a big deal, but when Wolf and Marcel were that big game-changing ultimates, who they didn't Death Cards didn't even have any DPS ultimates. Wolf and Marcel had ultimates, but they were both very. If Kip is making people speed around in the Kitsune Rush, it's very difficult for Marcel to land a Pulse Bomb, and it's very difficult for Wolf to find a pick on with a overclock. So I mean that's just a little bit of a Kitsune little rush there, but. Now coming up on 3 ultimates for Death Cards, this is some important stuff, especially when there's a grab in your face.
Yeah, the Bell's not going to be able to sustain them through there either. Shardy's going to take down Slick. Mark's going to find a pick on the Orsted. So again, it's just another trade back and forth. It's just coming down to these single picks here from each team. Who can you find? Who can you find out? It's hide and go seek here, because everyone's just flying around with their mobility. Everybody is running into the fight and then using their the ability of ebbing and flowing with their movement abilities to just take it however they want to.
Absolutely, and immediately getting that first pick is going to be huge. I mean, you can see Arctic Foxes, they didn't really just immediately dive onto them. Again, they were cool, calm, collected. They took their time. They were like, well, they probably lost the fight because we're just just a little bit better in that regard. But no. And then Marcel able to find a little pick right afterwards, and now both DPS for both teams coming up on both ultimates. Haru has the beat though. Delphi is 70% to it. If Death Cards don't press their advantage immediately, that's open grounds for open huntings for Arctic Foxes, especially when they have this high ground, which has been so
looking for this
crucial.
Death Blossom too here in these close quarters. It's gonna make it very easy for us that the beat is gonna come out from Haru to try and sustain, but is that gonna be enough? Especially when you jump on the point to try and pressure the cap as well.
Relapse.
Oh
That's
no, what
unfortunate.
happened? What happened? Well, Shardy happened here because Shardy's gonna find 2 more picks. But it's overtime for each team's coming into the last push. This is
Oh.
again 2-0. Remember,
Yeah.
both teams are fighting for their life here. I mean, Arctic Fox is a little bit more, but you know, Death Cards, they want to be done with this. They want to go. They want to kick it. They want to kick it with their team on and rest on their laurels, right? And continue thinking about the next match. But Arctic
man.
Foxes aren't going to let them do that so easily.
Freaking Relapse probably also thought they had a lot of confidence coming out from Arctic Foxes so far. You could see we're talking about the gears turning, and now it's really clicking. 1 minute to 1 minute. I mean, this is just classic Circle Royale. It's an absolute festivity. And now Relapse is very unfortunate. I just want to say an absolute classic. Don't even worry about it because I think the team's got this. And with DNA on the Sigma again coming onto this, it looks like again they're going to be sticking with that Zen, which made them so vulnerable into those second and third points. Eventually even have to swap off to I talked too much and made eventually swapped off to it. That's unfortunate, but it looks like Arctic Foxes.
I think Delphi's doing just fine. You know, Delphi on that second point had some clutch beats. There's a lot of sustain coming out from the support line here of Death Cards, and even though the Zen, I mean, we saw that double kick kill on the second point here. I want to hype Delphi up a little bit right now because
I'm sorry.
It's you know, it's we're seeing some stellar play from both support lines, but the Zen definitely, when you have that dive comp, can be tough to play around. So we'll see where the Kiriko spam can maybe create some value in terms of the kunai.
Ooh. I mean, that's
getting
an
opening pick though. I mean, we cannot mention that. Some great Widow play.
A headshot onto Tracer, I mean, you just love to see it. Eventually, yeah, this is going to make Arctic Foxes have to wait a little bit. But again, they're sticking with their very dive composition comp that worked so well for them last time. Delphi now has the bell, has the ability to run away. It's going to make it tougher for Arctic Foxes to dive onto them. But still, it looks like they're going to try and push this Trigon. Yeah, immediately trying to push this DNA, falling down to half health, using that immortality field. Haru's at half health, but again, they're still pressing this aggression. They're just trying to get this heart forward. Oh,
finding a pick, but Mars is going to be back quick. But 10 seconds. I don't know if they'll be fast enough. At this point, you're just trying to farm some quick ultimates here if you can. I mean, pick onto Orsted, but that's we're finally onto Slick from Orsted, so it's just tough here on the side of Arctic Foxes. It's a trade back and forth, and it's an overtime too, so we'll see what they can pull on these last seconds. They do have that close spawn, they do have the point control and those fast characters, so they're gonna try and play it patient here, see if they can get that full regroup. We'll see if that can even happen with Orsted taking down Relapse. That's their main source of point presence and sustain. So that's just kind of cracks it open for Death Cards.
Orsted very. Sorry.
Yeah, Death Cards to take it here. And when I meant sustain there, when I said sustain, not in terms of healing, but it's their sustain in terms of point control, right? When that big health target dies, that just cracks it wide open for everybody else to walk on in. So.
Especially, yeah, DNA was such a powerful frontline for Death Cards right there. Like Orsted was so free in that backline, just hitting headshots after headshots. I mean, like if you're Relapse as a monkey, if you try and dive in on a Widowmaker when there's such a heavy frontline, you can get the Widowmaker kill all you want, but the rest of your team is gonna die. I mean, Relapse on the first point for attacking for Arctic Foxes, they swapped. They had something with more. I believe they were running that Zarya instead of a monkey, so they had that, like, they were able to kind of walk their way through. They were able to have these kind of fights, have some more, have these bubbles prevent things like Marcel getting popped off right at the start, but. I mean, DNA again. I'm just trying to point out how powerful like the front line from Death Cards was, and it was so powerful. You can't really dive into their backline. Dive starts to kind of starts to become a dog battle.
They had the Kiriko Bell, they had the Immortality Field, they had the Sigma Rock. There's no way you're jumping in there without getting hit by some kind of defense ability or some kind of sustain that prevents the Tracer and the Monkey from getting that those quick picks. And we're going to see a Brawl comp come out here as well. See if they can just push back Death Cards. But Death Cards is Yeah, they're gonna say no way. They're gonna start say it doesn't matter who you bring to brawl. We're going to just take the point.
Valiant spawn hold right there coming out. You are gonna get enough time to touch the point once again, but you gotta make it worth it. Wolf immediately swapping over to the tracer. Marcellus used to be on the tracer, so it's gonna be interesting to see how they go into this. Again, they've been a very cool, calm, collective team. They can I was gonna say relapse
but
back,
Tina gets a pick on the relapse, and then Charlie opens it wide open with the second pick. At this point, you have 2 down, and you have a back line, which makes it tough for Tracer to get a pick. I just don't know how I can see Arctic Fox is coming back from this one.
Ooh, and yeah, they can't either.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a GG.
I think they still played very well, though. At the end, they adapted. They had a great push in the beginning, and this might be a 3-0 on the side of Death Cards, but it was hard fought. It was really hard fought, and I think that Arctic Foxes should feel great about the showing that they put forward.
Absolutely, and Marcel, I mean, what an Ash performance! What a downright inspiring attack from Circle Royale. That was some stuff that's like they could. Oh, I guess they can just turn around this entire thing. I guess they could just reverse sweep. That's how confident Arctic Foxes looks right there. Eventually, Death Cards really just they're a very defensive team. That's how I'm gonna put it, because they're defensive against dives. They're defensive against the way like they put everything into applying frontline pressure. And when you do that, that means you can immediately swap that means the front line goes into the back line at the blink of an eye. I mean, we did see DNA do a full force kind of aggressive Sigma Flux, getting 3 in the air. But I mean, in the end, I mean, I thought I would. I mean, if I was DNA right there, I would have been like, oh, we just won the game. But they're very Death Cards is very reflexive. They know what hands they can play. They know their deck, and they always go back to that. Like if Orsted would have gotten Dove on right there, Sigma would have just turned around, thrown a rock at relapse right there, and I mean, just the rest would have been history. So Arctic Foxes, I mean, that was just natureful.
Yeah, I think that it was. I think it was definitely some great counterplay from the side of Death Cards. Every single time Arctic Foxes were there, they were ready. And when I say where they were there, I'm saying if that was the Tracer, if that was the Winston, they were just lined up. They were picking those counter comps like we saw in Circuit Royale just now with the Baptiste Kiriko, right? That bell is absolutely key, right? And the Arctic Foxes, they were coming up with plans, and they were trying to really just find a way to counter Death Cards, and I think that they were able to find their groove by the end of the last map. But sometimes, you know, the other team then finds out a way to counter your counter.
Classic.
And that's how it goes. So big shout out again to the sorry, take a moment there. Big shout out there to both teams again for just like a great match. Again, I don't think the 3-0 was reflective of it. So definitely in terms of also I think was super cool, because when you have it's just really rare to see a 2-0 on a well, just in general. We were talking about that earlier, but then also in terms of just like a major shutdowns coming out from the side of Wolf, and also some major play throughout the match from Kyberus. Like that was some awesome Sojourn play. We were seeing those overclocks coming through and finding 2-3 picks. So really just like what a game.
Oh yeah. We're gonna be going into a break. I mean, that match was just so exciting. Some downright like Overwatch League level hit scan stuff. I mean, like I could watch this back and like actually learn and put into my freaking game. So I might end up doing that. And but unfortunately, I can't get to doing that right now because we've got another game on our hands right after this quick break.
Yeah.
Billings Boomers versus Frost Fisher.
Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to watch the rest of the playoffs. There's gonna be a lot more action.
Make you mine.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. We just wrapped up our last game with Death Cards taking the 3-0, and we are going into another match with Billings Boomers versus Frost Fissure here. The score right now is 2-1 on the side of Billings. So before we get into that, we are going to take a quick look at our bracket for the rest of the championships.
Almost. Well, leading into the bracket, I mean, you could already see how far these teams have gotten, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, in terms of the playoffs, I said championships, but you know, we're not in grand finals. I mean, I guess they are technically the championships, but
soon.
very soon. We're getting pretty close to the end of the lower bracket here. You know, it's going to be this is do or die time for these teams, right? You got to get that lower bracket win to make your way into the grand finals and take the whole game, right? But we can see here just from Billing Boomers that they beat Reckless Sigma, and they also Reckless Sigma. I mean, I know that they were a pretty tough force coming into this bracket, so there's something to look forward to. And we can see they're ahead here again. We're just hopping into this game, so we don't know how these players are playing, but guess what? We're gonna learn right alongside you how they are doing. We're gonna know what kind of team comps they're running. We're gonna know who the stars are, and yeah, it's gonna be great. We're really looking forward to it. We're gonna go into the fourth map of this series to see if we can tie it up 2-2, or maybe the Boomers will take it all the way. We'll see. But we're gonna get into Coalescio, which is a you know, we're gonna have some fun with the robot here. We're gonna push back and forth so you can get all the way to the end. And that's how these maps go, and explain like M5, right? So
That is totally how like Blizzard like put out the push game mode. Like that's a theme model for it. But I really want to touch up on Frost Fissure and Billing Boomers are both teams that have gotten 3-2 against just one opponent. So like these are both teams that have gone all the way. Like it was 2-2 at some point for both of these teams so far. These teams know how to win. These teams know how to bring it back. And so I mean, it may be 2-1 right now, but I mean, anything could happen, and especially on Coalescio. I mean, holy! Looks like both teams are going to be running a mirrored composition. I have not actually. Okay, this is the overall.
This is the comp of today. This is the comp of today. The Reaper, Kiriko, Sojourn, Lucio. That's what's going on.
Yep, immediately just gonna be going into the middle. It looks like both teams taking some time. Both teams once you dive in, the thing with that, you don't have the ability to really sustain yourself afterwards. So you really want to make that dive really all the bang for your buck. And already the Winston's not really trying to dive in, but
walk forward. Yeah, and urgently finally pick out the Swampy. That's what you do. You walk forward, you dive out. That's how you play it. And that's what just happened, right? Swampy wasn't able to dive out, and that sucks, but that's going to be great for the side of Frost Fissure.
Yeah, getting into that little room, if you're even in there for a second, these teams will eat you up. And already trying to push this corner now, there's some more space, there's some more breathe, and most importantly, there's a high ground for really spot out everybody. The Frost Fissure is going to be pushing into this. They do have the Lucio, they do have the kind of pressure. They are trying to isolate Mara just a little bit, but Mara kind of holding that corner. Both teams really playing a stable kind of middle ground. They're meeting up in the middle, and then they jumping off into a dive.
Swampy finding real low, but Tutty finding a pick. Chief trading the DPS. The Reapers from both sides. They're just going to continue to brawl here, but that's tougher for the red team because they don't have that sustain anymore, but they don't care because they're going to be able to try and chunk out the Kiriko, who doesn't even have a jump anymore, taking down the back line, taking down both supports. It's going to be clean up from the side of red team.
Oh yeah, Frost Fissure cleaning up those. I mean, Tutty getting those. Tutty recognized how out of position. Well, not out of position. Mara was off to that side the entire time, but Swampy and the rest of the team could really kind of sort of make that isolated. I was trying to say isolated, but they couldn't really get a pounce on him because if you use a pounce, then the rest of your team is open to get pounced on by Pongo. So Tutty making that pick onto the Reaper, that's going to be big. And eventually both Reapers were traded out, but okay, Pongo immediately jumping in, but there's a Kitsune rush from both sides.
Yeah, it's gonna take out the DPS. They're gonna trade, but you know it's so important having that Reaper up because you can chunk
and just walk forward here. It's just a brawl, right? And Mara's able to find that pick onto Retro. Swamp is able to trade out the alternate Lucio as well, but see, these monkeys just kind of primal each other. You know, they're both angry. They both want to hash it out on the other side of the map, and you know that's okay. Let them work through their problems, and we'll get to the next fight with you know, a little more calm.
Hey, that's what Rome is all about, baby, and especially DPS ults from Billings Boomer. It's gonna find that overclock diff onto Mariah, the headshot after headshot.
And Chief is just getting a massive triple here to close it out. A quad.
Making it quad.
Get the penta. Oh man, Mara steals it. But
Almost.
Win for the team. It's a win for the team with the fight going forward, and they're gonna try and get that forward spawn, get that big advantage. Still have the Death Blossom. We're gonna have it first before Frost Fissure, but Frost Fissure is going to get it very, very soon. So we'll see what happens here. They have 0 ultimates, so we'll hopefully see something early come out from the side of the Boomers.
They have 0 ultimates, but they do have the high ground, and Chrome Desvar is a little far away from the team right now. Eventually, we'll teleport in,
Finding
but
a massive important pick to open it up. Oh, they're still brawling, looking for a pick in the backline. Rongo able to find it with Poofa as well, the Swampy, but they don't have ultimates. But it doesn't matter, I guess.
No, those ultimates. That's what a lot of that fight came down to. I mean, if you're gonna be a team that like kind of wait, if you're gonna brawl that close, I mean, so far what we've seen, they're very like both teams will just stare each other down. They don't even care until the moment comes. And so like if you don't have an ultimate, you gotta be playing more of kind of what our last match was just doing with freaking Arctic Foxes. They were pouncing on people. It didn't matter if they had an ultimate or not.
Lars looking for the Death Blossom here.
Oh, even fights.
Yeah, he's able to find one from both sides, finding 2 more on the side of Swampy, 3 more. This Winston's really angry, finding as many kills as possible, walking forward with his Reaper, and is able to close the fight, get that robot headed in the other direction.
That's going to be huge. Retro still has that beat too. They have some means to build up a momentum, but it's going to be tough and it's going to be scary. Chrome's the first, what a beautiful name, but it has a Kitsune Rush, and that can enable just so much pressure that I don't know if Swampy's going to be able to keep up with it, but going to the backline and the beat from Retro, that's some aggressive play.
Yeah, and I mean, just getting into walk in here with 4 ults. We're seeing another ult out come out from Chief, looking for some picks on the overclock, doing some big damage on the Winston, but not able to find anything just yet. They're all standing in this corner, able to zone it out with the E ability and start walking forward with the rest of the team and deny that off angle. But might have bitten off a little bit more than Chief can chew, but the team is there, has Chief's back, and the Boomers are going to start moving forward again. They're going to start walking forward very slowly. Pongo is just commanding the front line here, finding 3 kills, 2 kills every fight, walking with the Reaper.
Pongo the pogo stick, sorry.
Jumping around, finding kills, stomping on people, finding wherever he can. Just picks. I'm going to swap to Zarya, but can't quite find a pick on Chief.
That Zarya pick is going to come in lots of handy. Well, maybe not right now when Chief it just continues this momentum. Last fight, I mean, dumping in a retro ult and an ult from Swampy, I mean, that's going to be some aggressive play, and that is the proper move. I mean, Pongo's just in your spawn, what are you going to do? But that was the proper move, I believe, from coming out from Frost Fissures right there. The Kitsune Rush will absolutely just melt your team completely by itself. They don't even have to use other ultimates. So trying to make a pounce off that, trying to make some moves off that. That was the correct move. But now coming into this, they have the swap back to the Winston. They have the overclock.
It's just tough when you just walk in like that, and it sets up a massive Death Blossom and chunks the team for a lot of damage. They're still able to walk forward from the side of the Boomers, but Chief is going to try and find a second kill here, trying to find to close it out. Looking for another kill onto Swampy, but Swampy's falling super low here, super low. He's able to finally close it out, but not without a trade coming out from Mara. So we'll see. It looks like Fissure's able to take this one back. They were able to force him into that corner, but just not able to close it out from there. Right? That's where you want the team to be. You want them to be stacked up on the Reaper with that Death Blossom, so you can get max value, but massive sustain coming out from the supports there.
Yeah, Lars didn't even have to use Blossom of his own. They just let Mara do the thing and then pounced on it eventually, punish him for that. But now, oh, Lars can now just make do, getting that little retro boop assist right there. Not just trying to make this little 3K, but oh man, I mean, the fight's just gonna be over. But I mean, it is 130 meters to 17. That may seem like some like, oh, the game's gonna end. This is like, we're screwed. It's Coliseum. You can definitely just push the point and to the end. That's how this game was designed. And coming up on a retro having beat like 50% faster than Fufa, you have the means to make this possible. Chief with the overclock though and this high ground, I mean, it's looking tantalizing for Swampy to try and dive on, but again, these teams have waited for an opportunity to arise, and Pongo tries to make it happen. Same as Chief popping this overclock, that's gonna force out beat, yeah.
That sustain coming through is making it really easy for them to just walk forward, but Pongo's gonna be able to deny them too here. Trying to take back that space, walk forward with Mara.
Only losing one member, but they are gonna really collapse on this. But oh, they're trying to regroup, but Pongo says no. You're talking about taking a charge. This guy's taking this team to military. I want to see Winston in the army someday.
Taking it really safe here, but that's gonna give a lot of opportunity for Mar to come in the back line with that Blossom here. We might see that in a second. Yeah, it finds one. Basically rent-free, living in the back line. With the support of Pongo as well.
Oh, that Kitsune was apt, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Kitsune
just massive.
It shreds them. I mean, I was trying to say how important Kitsune was a couple of fights ago. But Retro didn't have beat, Swampy didn't have primal. They didn't have the means to really keep themselves alive. Like, catching Tutty off guard just by like a mere seconds right there, and how they used it. But now coming up around this corner, both teams are going to just have a straight shot at each other, and only one of them has an overclock though. So I mean, yeah, Swampy going to take advantage of that. Immediately going to pop that. Trying to find a pick here.
Has to pop the Primal Rage to survive, but it's okay when you're able to force out and take that high ground from your team. But
blowing him off it.
Yeah, blowing them off, or at least trying to. And it's going to kind of repel the attack here from the side of the Boomers. They're not going to be able to find it. What they're looking for in terms of the height or in terms of the pick, because it's really just coming down to one pick here. That first pick is swaying the fight in the beginning, and Lars is finding the first one, finding two more with the Death Blossom, and just cleaning up that fight, getting the robot to move forward. I mean, we saw it earlier, right, where Mirai missed that pick onto Chief, and then this was like 3 fights ago. Chief was able to just overclock and almost take the robot to the end. So again, we're seeing that first pick from Lars, just opening up for the rest of the Death Blossom to come through. So we're again just looking for one pick, two pick, like where can they open it up?
Yeah, and I mean, forcing them onto the room, it seems to kind of be the play from both these teams. They use the Winstons to try and push the rest of the team to where they want, but I mean, when Billings Boomers has the high ground with the monkey compositions from both sides, you're just gonna have that advantage, and Pongo time and time again has just pressed it before Frostfish are really having a chance to really like dive onto their high ground, really get everyone of their team to where they want to in time. I mean, just some fast stuff. I mean, you could see these Kitsunes coming out from Chrome time and time again, just shredding the team. And it's not just because, oh, Kitsune is just a fantastic ultimate and that's why they win it. It's because it makes people faster, and it makes them just enough faster to where, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, it's with this mirror comp, right? It's just all about where are the picks coming through, who's able to get it first, and who's able to find those, you know, those right off angles and those moments of opportunity. And we only got to see one map here, but we're seeing that come out strong from the Boomers, right? So that's how they're able to take it. They were able to get those picks where it mattered, especially with Chief being able to stay alive and being able to just continue to be a force of nature. It comes down. Are you able to take down the Reaper? Are you able to take down the Sojourn? If at all, right?
Yeah, freaking! You're talking about those Reaper, getting those plays, those Reaper blade, those Beyblades. I mean, just come in such a handy. It didn't. Obviously, this was our freaking only map of seeing these two teams, but we could see a lot of what everyone was trying to go for. And in the end, it clicked because seeing each team blossom, each team, the ways that those teams blossomed. In that first one, when they were when Wings Boomers was kind of more of an inso for Frost versus Spawn, you could see the blossom coming out around the corner. They try to press that, but with that, it's not just like some random Reaper. Oh, just teleport in and blossom. It was after time. It was after Winston's used their jumps. It was after barriers were down. It was after bells were used. So both of these teams, once they dove in, like in the beginnings of the map too, when both of those teams like matched, and they were just like waiting, and like a Reaper was off to the side, they didn't even dive on the Reaper because they knew after you use an ability like that, you're going to be open. So they waited until specific abilities were used. And if you're gonna go that deep into an Overwatch match, I mean, these teams, you could see how much they were just going at it. I mean, even the cat wants to get involved.
Yeah, my cat is trying to co-cast with me here, but yeah, that's how you do it. That's with your dive, right? You try and force out those abilities and take advantage where you can. So we saw that beautifully from the side of the Boomers, right? And at that point, right, we also have another match update for you as well. We were able to see that the Decaps were able to take it 3-2 versus the Devil Dukes. So
Oh man,
that was the other match going on earlier, a little bit earlier at the same time as this one. So
Decapitators making it 3-2 with the Devil Dukes. Decapitators are like they're starting to kind of ring in my head a lot as an infamous team. So if you're gonna go 3-2, you're not walking away unhappy. That was some hard fought stuff. I mean,
yeah,
these were some good matches.
These have been some great matches. We've seen some great effort from both teams, from both the matches that we are able to share with you both today. So yeah, just a reminder that playoffs are still gonna keep going on. There are gonna be more of these broadcasts, more action coming up. So make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to keep the notifications on for this Twitch channel because you won't want to miss any of those channels, any of those matches. And for now, that's been our show. So we hope to see you next time and have a great rest of your night.
You said it.